Hey everybody, welcome to the next video. Now, gaming in its lifetime has made quite a few changes, and also over its lifetime it has opened up a wide variety of genres. And these things cover almost everything you could think of, from horror to role-playing games to action to sports and many others. But today, I want to talk about a very specific kind of genre in the gaming space, and that is shoot-'em-ups. Arcade shoot-'em-ups played a vital role in keeping people coming back to arcades way back when, before we are in the state we're in now, to where arcades are in decline, even in Japan. And really, as I spend most of my time nowadays going through my emulations and playing some old games that I just either never got to play because of where I lived and, there was no availability, to classics that every time I would end up in an arcade, whether it be at a pizza shop or a bowling alley or if I was at the mall, I kept finding myself being dragged towards the shoot-'em-up genre of arcade games. Something about just putting in a quarter and trying to make your little ship maneuver through the waves and waves of bullets and enemies, and trying to make that quarter last as long as possible was just, it was thrilling, challenging, and it felt great when you could finally get past that first level without getting touched by anything. So I thought of, why don't I talk about 5 shooters that I think that every person should play. So that's going to be today's goal. I'm going to go through 5 arcade shoot-'em-ups that everyone should play. Now, I'm not going to do any that are like console exclusive or anything like that. These games are meant to be played in the arcade. Some of them may have received releases outside of the arcade, but for the most part, you have to experience these in the arcade, in order to make at least this list. And this is in no specific order. There's no this one's number 1, this one's number 2. This is just going to be 5 arcade shoot-'em-ups that I think everyone should play. First up, Stormblade. Stormblade was a very eye-catching little shoot-'em-up released in 1996 by Visco. Now, this is I wouldn't say it's completely by the numbers, but it's basically, they are not trying to rock the boat in terms of shoot-'em-ups. You get to select between 4 different characters, each one with a unique ship, and their shot types different from each other. Like the main guy, he's from the US, he has an American flag on his ship, and he shoots, bullets and missiles. And then the next guy will shoot bullets and lasers, and the next girl will shoot something different. So each character plays at least slightly different from each other. Now, each stage, which there are 6 full stages for you to play through, each stage comes with its own set of, enemy patterns and the bosses that come out. Now, one of the things that you'll notice about this game when you look at it is it's not very fantastical whenever it comes to ship designs. Most of it's actually pretty practical, and a lot of it is either just oversized versions of actual ships and jet planes and aircraft that exist, and some of them are just slightly tweaked to make them look more eye-catching whenever it comes to the game space. Now, of the 6 stages, the first 3 are on a random order, so you don't know which 3 you're going to get at the beginning, but they do loop around, so it does help offer a little bit of uniqueness every time that you get into play. And then the system is a basic 8-way movement. You have 2 buttons, one for your main shot, which you have to keep tapping, you can't just hold it down, and then the other one is meant for your bomb, which is a screen clearing thing that'll take out all the bullets and also all the enemies that are in front of you. And one of the good things about this game that I like so much is that it is very beginner friendly. It's not gonna automatically throw waves and waves of bullet at you. The difficulty will gradually curve up until you loop around, and then it'll change. But most games do that. They'll have a loop version to where whenever you beat the last level, it's not just game over, you start back over again, and everything's just way harder. So you always have that. The music, though it's really, really hard to hear because the sound effects drown it out, is pretty good. It's decent enough, and it's not too bad. Another reason why I like this game so much is that the enemy bullets are very easy to see on the screen. The color patterns don't get lost very easily by what's on the screen, so it's actually really nice that you don't have to worry about, is that mine or is that theirs? I have no idea. Hopefully I don't die. And then the power-up system for the game is the same general power-up system that you find in shoot-'em-ups. You'll destroy a special kind of ship that's on the screen, and it'll have a little floating P. For this one, that it's just the letter P. And once you collect it, your character will level up their shot type, and you can max it out, I think, at 4. I think once you collect 4, you're pretty much shooting with as much strength as you possibly can in the game. You can't really do any more than that. And really, it's almost like playing an anime, because in between levels, there's even small little cutscenes of your pilot talking to your coordinator back at base, and she's telling you, oh, this new ship shows up, now you gotta go fight it, and your guy's like, yeah, we will, and then they just fly off and go do it. So all around, this is just a solid shoot 'em up for anyone who's looking to try out the genre, and it's not so hard that it'll turn away, it's not going to separate the wheat from the chaff. It's a good start 'em up game, and I recommend this to anyone. Gigawing. Gigawing is it's really just an interesting shooter. It's not your typical vertical top-down, it's not like a typical horizontal. It's more of like a stretched vertical shooter, if that's a way to describe it. But this was published by Capcom, which Capcom, they've had their fair share of shooters that they've made in their day. And it was also made by Takumi Corporation, and they're also well known for these types of games. Now, this game it sports a very slick art style, like very typical of Capcom at the time whenever it was released. The character models look really nice. The pixel art is fantastic, and the sprinkling of 3D fits in really well, because you could tell they were really going for like that anime aesthetic. And then also, this whole game has like a futuristic, steampunk type vibe to it. So it's really nice to see visually what's going on. But the way the game plays is actually really nice. So you can pick between, I think it's 4 characters, and each one has a unique shot type. And this is going to be like a common theme throughout most shooters. And each one can level up over time by picking up power-ups as per usual. And the more power-ups you get, the stronger your shot gets, the more stuff you can kill, the better you become. But it has a special barrier system. So in this game, you can fill a gauge in the bottom left-hand corner. And once it fills up, and it just does it automatically. You don't have to really like kill anything or do anything to fill it. It's just something that happens. If you hold down the shot button, then you'll create a barrier. And this barrier will protect your ship, and it'll actually send all the bullets back to the enemies. So you really find yourself trying to strategize where you're going to put your character the most, and looking for the enemies that are going to shoot the most bullets at you, so that you can return the most fire back at them. And in turn, whenever you kill them, or whenever you shoot the bullets back, you get more points. Because, shoot 'em ups are generally just a point-based game type thing. Everyone's trying to get the high score. So it's a really interesting system, and it changes how you view boss fights outside of, I need to avoid all of their bullets all the time and then try to shoot the squishy parts as best I can, to where now it's, where can I put my ship so that when he shoots the most bullets possible, I can pop barrier and send him right back and get as much damage as I can. So it ends up creating a really neat dynamic in the game, and I don't really think there's too many other games that have tried this particular gimmick. but it works really well, and the game is very fluid. It moves really well. There's barely any slowdown, which is also common for these types of games, especially whenever we're talking about like straight bullet hells. It's kind of insane, right? And this one also has a interesting like stage system. So you'll go through the main stages of the game, which, if I remember correctly, it's 5 stages? No, 6 stages. So you'll go through them, and whenever you finish it, instead of just, game over, it will loop. And whenever you come back, it's much, much harder. So the game is telling you, hey, you did so good and taking care of it the first time. Now try to do it on expert mode. And this may not be good for most people, but in general, Gigawing is not a hardcore shoot 'em up game until you get to the EX mode. The original mode, it's not super beginner friendly, but it's not overly hard that it'll turn away new people to the genre. So if you want something that has like a unique look, plays well, and it's just kind of a overall fun deal, then play this one. Oh yeah, and also the music is awesome. So definitely take a look at this one if you get some free time. Metal Slug. Now, this one is a personal all-time favorite for me. Every time I went to the arcade and I saw this game, it was played. And I remember one time I went and I just put a $10 bill and just used up that entire $10 bill just playing one solid game of Metal Slug, because I was still learning the game. I wasn't familiar with all the stages and all that. But Metal Slug is hands down, like it's not probably the best, but it's up there. It is one of the best shoot 'em ups that has ever been made, and we're talking specifically the first one. Now, the fan base may argue over which one's like the best overall Metal Slug. Like we'll agree on some things not being the best one, but for me, you really can't go wrong with the first one. Now, this game is produced and put out by SNK, and really they knocked this out of the park. Like, they got lightning in a bottle with this one. The graphics look slick. The art style is super unique. It's like a militaristic anime comic book, like dystopian future thing. It's really well made, and everything looks like it belongs in the Metal Slug universe. Like, there's nothing in there like the characters look super anime and then like there's like a realistic thing. No, everything fits the same type of art style, so it's really great to see. And then this was kind of the reason why you wanted to get a Neo Geo, or you wanted to play on the Neo Geo cabinets, because this game it ran so well, and it was so fluid, and the action is just like balls to the wall from the very beginning. And every stage, your character drops in on a parachute, and as soon as you land, you're shooting your gun, and you're like going through the waves of enemies of the enemy army that comes after you. Like, really, it just hits all the right beats. And then not only that, so you're gonna go through the 6 stages, and each one, has its own little things that it adds in. So you may have some vehicles here. You'll start in a different area. The enemy types are generally the same. You'll keep running into them, but they come in different groupings, and they move everything around enough to where it remains challenging. And this is also a very good slope type of difficulty curve. It's not going to hit you too hard. Like, it's not going to knock your teeth out of nowhere. You will gradually, get used to the new difficulty. Now, since this was the very first one, they hadn't implemented all the characters like they did in subsequent versions of the game. So the very first one, player 1 was Marco, and then player 2 was Tarma. And that's it. You didn't get to choose between anyone else. And this was before they started adding, the characters have specific abilities that help them out or whatever. Now, the best thing is that the game starts off strong, and then it just doesn't stop, and you just keep going, and it gives you some of the best run and gun action you could ever find in an arcade system. You have oversized metallic enemies. You have enemy soldiers that change how they come into play. They throw in stage obstacles, so you might have pitfalls or electric traps or all sorts of different things. And then they have this system to where you're trying to rescue POWs, and the POWs can drop different type of weapon upgrades. And that's also one of the better beauties of this game. It's the upgrade. Like, all the power-up weapons are awesome. They all have a use at some point. Of course, everyone's going to recognize the heavy machine gun. The shotgun is the strongest thing, but you get it very sparingly throughout the game. The way that they drop everything into your hands is just difficult enough to, to be challenging, but not overwhelming. And I just love that. And really, this game is just a fantastic experience from beginning to end. The music is driving and pumping, and it keeps your blood going while you're getting through. Like, really, this is just an experience that you should have. And the best way to do it is, of course, at the arcade. But if you want to get like the next best thing, get you a nice little arcade stick, plug it into your computer or whatever your emulation is, and then just run through it. The best thing about emulation for it is you get infinite quarters. So if you suck, you can just literally bulldoze your way through by having infinite bison dollars. So really, Metal Slug, go play it. And then after you play the first one, go play Metal Slug X, 3, 4, 5, 6, like, play them all. They all are good to varying degrees, but like, it's just a solid series and you can't go wrong with it. Armed Police Batrider. Now this is one that I actually didn't play until I got to Japan. From what I understand, it didn't get like a massive wide release in the West, but it's still released there. I guess you just had to be where it is. But man, I wish I wish I'd had it whenever I was younger. This game is awesome. Like, the way you move through each of the stages, and your little guy is just pounding through, and it's like a cyberpunk future thing, and your character has different shot types and you're weaving in and out, and you just tons of enemies, massive bosses. It's so colorful and vibrant. The pixel art is just so on point for this game. Like, I couldn't take my eyes off it whenever, well, I mean, of course, because I was playing the game, but even just walking around, I would always turn my head to look at this game. It's beautiful. I think it stands up really well. The action is fast and fluid. I wouldn't say that it keeps 60 frames for the whole game, because there are parts in the game to where there's so much stuff on the screen, there is slowdown. But for the most part, this thing looks great. And I mean, being that it was released in 1998 by Aiding, which Aiding is actually, like, they're pretty well known for making some good shooters, but it offers just so much. Like, in the main game, you get like 6 characters, but you can expand that to 9 altogether. Oh wait, no, I'm sorry. It's 9 characters altogether, and then you can get another 3 for secret ones. There's another 9 extra for secret ones. Man, I'm messing this up. So altogether, you have 18 characters in a shooting game. That's insane. But also, the way that this game works is you can decide to just pick one character, and then you'll get 3 lives for that one character, or you can play them in teams. And each time one character dies, it'll switch to the next teammate and then the third teammate. So instead of the usual thing, like, now you can constantly switch up what you're doing, if you mess up and die. So it's a really interesting system. And once again, all the characters have at least slightly different shot types. So you're going to want to maneuver them differently. And some of them even have different movement speeds. So, like, you really have to make sure you're picking a team if you're going that route that fits your playstyle. But the other thing you can do is just play single player and just work with one character the whole time. So it's really fun, and it's an interesting way to do it. Now, this is another one of those to where you're going to have to keep tapping the button. This isn't one of those hold down and shoot. Well, actually, no, it is a hold down and shoot. My bad. But the like special thing you can do is, if you don't shoot, your character will charge their shot. And if you have your little bits around you, they'll wait until it's charged all the way, and then the next time you shoot, your main gun will shoot stronger bullets, and then also your 2 little bits that follow you will have a special action. Maybe they might track an enemy, maybe they'll stay in place and just spread bullets all over the place. So it's very interesting, and it leads into different types of strategies, so that you're not just mindlessly holding down the shoot button and go around. Like, you're going to want to pick when to hold your bullets and when to let them go. The main problem that I have with this game is not that, like, you know, the stages change or anything like that. The stages are actually really fun, and overall, you know, this game has, I believe it's 7 stages, and you can choose between either like a normal mode or like a advanced mode. Advanced mode lets you play all 7 stages, and it changes some of the stages in the beginning, so it's not the same thing every time around. But the main thing is that sometimes this game, the bullets are hard to see. Like, even if you're playing at an arcade machine with a nice big fat screen and not on like your phone or something smaller, the bullets sometimes, at least for my eyes, blend in, especially the blue bullets. I don't know what it is about the color palette, but they just don't stick out enough for me to see. Now, of course, other enemies will shoot like orange and red bullets, which is nice because you can see those real easy. But the smaller blue bullets, those are really hard to see sometimes. But even with that said, this is still a fantastic game. And once you play it for a while, your eyes start to adjust to it, and then you start being able to pick out, you know, the smaller stuff. And I mean, really, it screams like an old 1980s anime, and it just oozes cool. And so I highly recommend this if you're looking for a challenge. This one is definitely not the easiest one, and I wouldn't recommend someone who's just fresh getting into shooters to try this. But this is I played a couple of shooters, so I know kind of what I'm doing. Go ahead and try this out. It's really fun, and it's not too taxing. Donpachi. This is also another one that I did not really know existed until I got to Japan. And from what I've seen, Donpachi has made it to the West, but it's another one of those to where it just didn't really gain like massive appeal. But in the shooter genre, like in those circles, this is a legendary type game. And it has many installments, and you have the Donpachi series, and then you have the Dodonpachi series, and then you have like a Dodonpachi Kuro series. Like it's kind of big in the shoot 'em up circles. But man, this game earns its like widely reverence of being like one of the greats of all time. This is a very slick game. The pixel graphics are beautiful. Your ship is easy to see. All the bullet types are right in front of you. And this is a bullet hell. This is not for the weak. This game, it's not as bad as like the Toho games or like Mushihime-sama, because those are like massive bullet hell. But this game is fast, and it throws bullets at you very quickly. So you need to be at least some sort of a seasoned vet. I wouldn't say a vet, but just like you need a little spice on you in order to be able to play this game. It comes at you really quick, but once you play it enough, you start to like, you know, it starts to click. Now in this one, you have 3 ships to choose from. It's a red, a green, and a blue ship, and each one has a very cool look to it. Like the red and the blue one are very futuristic, and then the green one is like a helicopter, which is pretty nice. And each one, their shot type differentiates from each other. So the red one is just like, you know, you're straightforward. Green one can do a little bit of tracking, and the blue one is very strong. And they also have like differing speeds. Like the green one's the fastest, blue one's the slowest, red one's in the middle. But the way that this one works is you have your regular like main weapon. You have to tap the button in order to constantly shoot a steady fire range. But if you hold down the button, you can do a laser, which is concentrated fire, and you can just mow down enemies left and right. So you're constantly dodging bullets and shifting between shooting a wider spread of your regular bullets while also switching over to laser to take out the more beefy stuff, or just to like quickly clean out stuff. And then whenever you're just pressing, you know, you're just tapping the button, your ship moves faster. But whenever you hold down the laser, you don't go at like half speed, but you are reduced. So you need to like, you know, pick and choose when. And there's quite a few times to where the laser version will help you out, because your brain might move too fast, and you might want to, like, you know, hit that stick a little too hard, and it'll just send you into a bullet. But if you're using the laser, you're going a little bit slower, you might be able to, like, you know, see what's coming down the pipe and be able to plot your course through the waves of bullets. Now, for this one, it does loop. Now it has 5 stages, and each one plays out. But the way that they're made, it's like pure perfection in terms of like level design, enemy placement, boss patterns, things like that. It's just great. And this is also a game that loops. So you may get through, well, you may finally get through the main game thinking, oh, that's it. No, the game just sends you right back and says, oh yeah, now try the hell mode. And everything is cranked up to 11. So the loop mode is not for the weak. That is, you better know what you're doing. And go watch some videos on like the pros who play this stuff. I don't know how they can get through half of this stuff. Like, these people are robots in my eyes. But man, this game just like, it earns all of its praise. And really, a lot of it is because of the developer. The developer is Cave, and Cave is well known for making shoot 'em ups, and this is one of their biggest ones. And of course, Cave is usually followed by Atlas. And most of the time that people hear Atlas nowadays, it's RPGs like Disgaea, or they think of things like Persona, stuff like that. But really, Atlas is a heavy shoot 'em up, publisher. So it's really cool to see this. And the funny thing is that once this game came out, in all truth, Cave and Atlas together said that this game was a creative failure. But that they didn't tell that to anyone else, because the community latched onto this game and it helped create one of the greatest shoot 'em up series that I've ever played. This is a definite play for anyone, and I still stand by the notion that I made earlier. Get yourself an arcade stick and play this like as naturally as you can. Man, this is such a good time. I can't recommend Donpachi enough. And that's it. Those are the 5 arcade shoot 'em ups that I think that everyone should play. And really, most of these games, if you're talking to like seasoned vets, they may say some of these they're just really easy, man. And I'll say to you, yeah, that's kind of the point. Like, these things don't always have to be butt-clenching bullet fests. Like, you can go ahead and relax and play a game sometimes too. They still offer at least a decent amount of difficulty, even from the people who say that, oh man, these are like super easy. And of course, my list, which is once again in no order, this can all be contested, because you can have some other people that say, well, this game should be here and this game should be kicked out. But like I said, I kept it strictly to arcade shoot 'em ups. Now, if we went to console shoot 'em ups, my list would be completely different, and that may be like a later video, so I'll talk about what I think were released on console that should be there. But for the most part, like, these all have very similar things between them. They look really good. Pixel graphics are insane on these things. They have all nice art styles. They all have fantastic boss fights, and they all have multiple levels in which you can play and learn and use a thing. And some of them have unique facets to them. But really, like I said, there's other games you could slot in here that could fit the bill just fine. But these are just, for me personally, some games that I think everyone should try out. And with that, that's the end of the video. Everyone, thank you for sticking around for so long to the end. Please, once again, like and subscribe. I actually want everyone to comment. Let me know if you agree with any of these titles, or tell me what games that you would have put into this list instead, because I'm always on the lookout for like new shoot 'em ups that I haven't encountered yet. So if you know of something that you think might slot well in here, please let me know in the comments. I'm really curious, and I really want to like play some other stuff. All right, with that, I'll see you later.